I've been perusing the Saints' depth chart as of late. We had better hope that those gentlemen manning the offensive line are made of steel because the talent level of those behind them drops precipitously. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here and agreeing to spend a little bit of your day with me. Today's Thursday, and I had been looking over the Saints' injury report from yesterday, where we saw Alante Taylor, Demario Davis, Alvin Kamara, and Cesar Ruiz not participating in practice. Though I do believe I did hear a little blurb today about Alvin Kamara returning to practice, and the fact that Taysom Hill is healthy enough to play is a plus because we missed him terribly, terribly last week. I had said that the reason the Saints lost to Philadelphia is because they did not play their game as they had been playing it for the 2 weeks prior. I had the opportunity to go back and look at the game again, and I was very, very wrong. The Saints were playing their game as they had been the previous 2 weeks. The difference was the Philadelphia Eagles defense played a different game from the ones they had played the previous 2 weeks. While the zone running scheme depends on horizontal movement in order to create holes for a running back to run through, the defense's assignment is to fill those gaps, maintain gap integrity so that those running backs don't have a goal, don't have a hole to run into, to run through. And Philadelphia was absolutely excellent with that on Sunday. As it was still a low scoring game, mostly a defensive struggle that saw Philadelphia not have any points in the first half. The Philadelphia New Orleans game looked similar to me to the Philadelphia Atlanta game. The only difference being Atlanta's offensive line was able to open those holes against Philly's defensive line. Of course, this is before they changed their defensive scheme in order to stop the Saints, which they did quite successfully. I'm worried about our players. Yes, Taysom's playing. He had a chest contusion. Yes, Derek Carr's playing, though I hesitate to think that he is truly injured because I've noticed something that he does consistently. When he throws an interception, he immediately goes, "Oh, I'm hurt, I'm so hurt." Yeah. I understand that because when I was younger, when I got in trouble for something, my old go to was sick. Oh, my stomach hurt. Oh, I gotta throw up. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it worked, but after it got caught on too, no, it didn't. And after I caught on to what I was doing, I put a stop to it. Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints have had some tussles. Many times the game between these two teams get chippy and nasty, and that is exactly what I expect this time. I don't know. Both our centers, both Atlanta center and our center, is going to be out with injuries. Atlanta also has a left guard. I do believe that's questionable with injuries. And I really, really, really do hate that Cesar Ruiz is nicked up too, and Alante Taylor nicked up, even if they do practice by Friday, and even if they are cleared to play. You and I both know that they won't be 100%, but it may not take 100% to beat the Falcons. Maybe all it takes is hate. Hate is a great motivator. The way they're running their lips, yang, 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 talking about, oh, y'all ain't nothing. Yeah, you got showed up. Yeah, you got exposed. Well, you know what we're doing. Can you stop us? Contrast, too. While Atlanta doesn't totally run that wide zone offense, they have incorporated parts of it into their playbook. And you could see it during the Philly game. That inside zone run that Bijan Robinson was eating them up with, and that we couldn't. Atlanta, I do believe, thinks they have something on us. Ha ha, y'all lost. Ha ha, you couldn't do nothing. Ha ha ha. The Saints game was as close as the game Atlanta had with Philadelphia. Mostly a defensive struggle, much like the game Sunday with Philadelphia and New Orleans. And I expect a defensive struggle on Sunday between Atlanta and New Orleans. And I also expect personal fouls aplenty, late hits, nasty piling on. But hey, who cares? It's the Falcons. Do to them as you will or may. They deserve it. Not because they've done anything so egregious, but because they're the Falcons. That's all the reason you need. Now, yeah, the Falcons got some great players. Yeah, Drake London's a pretty good receiver. Bijan Robinson's going to be a serious star in this league, barring injury. And then they have Kirk Cousins at quarterback. Kirk is on his last legs, it's true. He's got one foot on the banana peel, sliding towards NFL oblivion. But for some reason, no matter how ugly Cousins looks in games, he seems to get up for the Saints. Excuse me. He's played us 5 times. He's 2-3 in those games. Thank you, Hoodie Jube, for correcting me on my misconception about that. But those 2 games that he did win against us, how about 2017 and 2019? Playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, I interrupt this video to correct a mistake I made. Kirk Cousins did indeed defeat the Saints in the playoffs in 2019 with a touchdown pass to Kyle Rudolph. But in 2017, it was Case Keenum to Stephon Diggs that defeated the Saints in the playoffs that year. Kirk Cousins was not yet on the Minnesota Vikings. At the time, he was still with the Washington football team. Need I say more? And while they have good players, that would be good matchups against our defense or our offense. Atlanta tries their best. They copy everything we do. They snatch up coaches who have coached at New Orleans, Ryan Nielsen, a case in point. They snatch up any players that leave New Orleans. And as a matter of fact, the Falcons have two former Saints on their roster right now by the name of Caden Ellis and David Onyemata. Onyemata was a decent player for us. You might talk about all these Atlanta Falcons players. You might talk about Drake London catching passes, Bijan Robinson running roughshod, or maybe even Bijan Robinson catching passes out of the backfield. But one name I've hardly heard, Kyle Pitts. Kirk Cousins isn't running quarterback. Kyle Pitts, still a tight end. And we know what tight ends have routinely done to the Saints. Here's hoping that this time that'll be different. I would like to say that Atlanta's defense is not the equal of ours. But considering how our defense, toward the end of the game, that's true, did get sliced and diced by Jalen Hurts, maybe that's something that we ought to pause about. There's a bugaboo on Atlanta's defense. You know his name. Say it with me now. Jesse Bates. That fellow who spoiled the game for the Saints. Last, November 20th? Yeah. Saints down on the 8-yard line, getting ready to go in for the touchdown. Derek Carr throws past, Jesse Bates intercepted it, and takes it to the house. Let's hope that doesn't happen this game. Let's also hope that the Saints' defense can contain Bijan Robinson, get hits on Kirk Cousins, though that might not be the best thing. Hit him and put him out the game because he's got behind him Michael Penix Jr. Young, strong, athletic, probably runs. No, thank you. I have to wonder if Cesar Ruiz is going to play a whole game. And if he doesn't, who's going to replace him? Interesting question. The only comfort about that is that the Falcons are facing some of the same problems we are. And another thing, since the Falcons also run. The zone run. Will they be able to stop the Saints from running it? And will the Saints be able to stop them from running it, since they probably see it in practice every day? Questions, questions, people. Though I will say I'm glad that Taysom Hill is back because he adds a wrinkle into it when he's in the game. You don't know whether he's going to pass, whether he's going to run, whether he's going to block, or whether he's going to go out as a tight end. And the Saints need to take advantage of that. We're 2-1 right now. I'm not going to say this is a must win, but I feel that it's a must win. I'd rather not see us lose and go play Kansas City with a taste of a loss in our mouths. Let's hope. Hate. Pure, unadulterated, red and black Falcon hate will get us where we need to go. That's all I have for tonight, family. Again, thank you for being here. And before you leave, please hit the like button. It'll help me out a whole lot. And like, share, and subscribe if you've a mind to. Anyway, whichever way the game goes, whichever way it turns out, don't get too mad and don't get too glad. It's only the 4th game of the season, people. Perspective. Who dat?